Very close.
Rags.com out of Miami, and we're supporting Hillary, and donations we're getting for the buttons to support the campaign. Right now, I'm just starting to learn it, everything about it. She started it because war all over the world has to stop. Yeah, she supported it. Yeah. I'm not too much about it because I just started working with, I'm like in between Hillary and, I don't really want to do too much of this, because I'm not too sure what to say. I don't want to waste your...
Okay. So the sanctions on Russia, I don't know anything about, so I can't answer that. Oh, thanks very much. Hold up. Yeah, go ahead, hold it. And Bernie's feeling about Israel. Bernie supports Israel. Bernie acknowledges that Israel is an important ally of ours, and he believes that the solutions for the Middle East, which include Israel and the Palestinians, is very much an issue that those countries, those nations in that area are primarily responsible for, with the help of the United States. Bernie Sanders wants to be an honest broker. He believes that if you're referring to Gaza and the attack by Israel on Gaza, you're talking about the encroachment of Israel going into Palestinian territory and annexing it, basically, and setting up settlements or kibbutzes, whatever the case may be. First of all, that's illegal. It's illegal to do that. The UN has already determined that that is illegal, and the United States has acknowledged that that's illegal, and Israel is going in and doing something that internationally has been agreed upon is illegal. So let's follow the law. Let's follow agreements. How about doing that? How about acknowledging that the Palestinians have just as much right to a homeland as Israel? Excuse me. This is what being an honest broker is. This is what being an honest ally is. The Netanyahu government is a far right-wing government, and he doesn't represent everybody in Israel. He doesn't represent the Israeli people. There are many, many people in Israel who believe in the two-state solution, which Netanyahu has come out and said that he doesn't support. Then he backtracked on it because he had a moment of honesty. So Bernie Sanders believes that any U.S. president needs to be an honest broker with people or nations that have differences of opinion if we're going to have any effect on a positive outcome at all. I'm out here for Bernie Sanders because he is authentic and that he stands on principle that he has believed in, that he has fought for, that he has dedicated his life and his career to. He marched with Martin Luther King on Washington. He protested segregation on the University of Chicago, and to the point where he was willing to be arrested for it. And this was just the foundation of what he believes in. And from there, he expanded his view, political and social, and stood for what he believed in. What he says is what he does. That's Bernie Sanders. Honest, integrity, authentic. And he's the only candidate running who's like that. He's the only candidate running in my lifetime who's like that. This is a golden opportunity that we have here to vote for somebody who you can actually vote for instead of the lesser of two wrong choices or bad choices. I've never come out like this and campaigned so much for any person. And like Bernie says, it's not me, it's us. Nobody is going to make any changes without the people. And Bernie Sanders has inspired and energized the people. The groundswell, overwhelming groundswell of grassroots support for him will be the key to accomplishing all the things that Bernie talks about where we need to go. If the people are not in charge of our government, if we are not in charge of our government, we don't have a democracy. If we are electing representatives, so-called representatives, who don't really represent us, but represent the moneyed interests that put them in office, the people who Hillary Clinton represents, her constituents are the millionaires and billionaires and corporations and all the special interests who have, and the super PACs and all the everybody who's given, all the corporations and special interests and lawyers and lobbyists who have given to the super PACs. That's who she represents. Those are her constituents. Nothing's going to change. She is the problem. Bernie represents the solution with the people. Bernie and the people are the solution. Hillary Clinton is the problem.
Well, I support Bernie Sanders because he's amazing. He's truthful. You know, everything he says I support. I haven't seen a politician of his like before. About Russia, I didn't know anything about that, so I have to research that. And on Israel, I think he's going to be very fair, because there could always be, when you're a Jewish candidate, you know, that they'll say you'll support one side or the other side, but he'll be very balanced, and he'll be balanced to the point that probably Zionists and people like that will come out against him, I think. So I'm very comfortable on how balanced he would be about Israel, more than any other candidate, to tell you the truth.
So I support Bernie Sanders because he is probably one of the most rock-solid politicians. And I mean, in a world of politicians, I swear I was quoted for this in a magazine or in a newspaper. I called him a unicorn, and that name caught on. But the point is, he's a unicorn. You don't find politicians like that. What do I think about it? I think some of his plans, I'm not actually fully aware of his plans for Russia, but I do know he is an extremely competent person. As a politician, he has been able to go across the aisle, which shouldn't be that freaking hard, but it is, and he's been one of the few people who's been able to do it on common sense laws. So I think as far as foreign policy goes concerning Russia, he's a great candidate. I think he has a good head on his shoulders. And as far as Israel, I am aware that he wants to take a step back from the really, really close friendship that this country has with Israel, and that's not exactly a bad idea. Obviously, I don't think he hates Israel. There are many reasons to say he should like Israel, but I think it's a lot better than just the gung-ho, let's protect them no matter what, even if they're going to be doing, you know, war crimes on other people type of point of views that you see in other candidates.
So Hillary shouldn't have the power to authorize war. Nobody in the fucking U.S. Congress should. We shouldn't be dumping money into war, period. And I think Hillary choosing to, you know, take out Gaddafi along with, you know, Obama, who thinks he can liberate people who don't care for our brand of liberation, neo-liberal capitalization. I think it's a joke out here between Bernie and Hillary supporters because they're all in favor of more drone warfare, dropping bombs on kids, dropping bombs on weddings, just making more terrorists. So I think we can expect if Bernie gets elected, a less overt empire, and if Hillary gets elected, it's going to be business as usual. Wall Street and military-industrial complex handouts, taking our tax money and putting it right into bombs that are killing people who have nothing against any of us here in Brooklyn. So, women president, Jewish president, no presidents, no more war, fuck it.
So why am I here tonight? Basically, I'm just trying to wake up the American people, the people that are attending this rally tonight, whatever debate, this farce called the Democratic debates. These are being funded by large multinational companies, and these companies, unfortunately, are not talking about the key issues that we need to start talking about as residents of New York. Do you want to get a picture of the sign? Yeah. So we're trying to just create our own bandwidth, become our own media. So I commend what you're doing with the camera. We need more brave people like you to do this, and see the importance of this. So it shows you're able to critically think, and you want to document what's happening because this is a historical moment. So we're trying to just basically break the paradigm and talk about the things that Bernie is not talking about. And unfortunately, we have to do it in person. It's a lot more work, but that's the way we do it. We do it through seeing actual faces, not a little mirage on a little box in front of us, electronic mirage. Because they're manufacturing news right now, and the news is basically scripted. I don't know if people are aware of this, but maybe I should just start playing the scripted news. But yeah, so we have a light brigade. We got these lights here. I don't know if you can see this, but we're trying to get these lights to be, have people holding them rather than me leaning them against the wall and hoping that the wind doesn't knock them over. So we have 40 of these, and they're mostly sitting around right now. I would prefer to promote things like a calendar, an activism calendar, possibly, or ways to promote independent journalists in New York, the best independent journalists that have integrity, that are onto something about mostly the corruption and the mass mind control that's taking place in this country. The fact that we're covering up events of 9/11, the fact that World Trade Center 7, no one can even no one's even talking about this. The fact that Bernie, who's talking about this? I don't know any candidate. I think Jesse Ventura is talking about it. Cynthia McKinney, former Congress member of Georgia, but does anybody even know about her, for Christ's sake? So we're trying to break the mass, I don't know, it's like a fog over everybody. There used to be people that actually cared and got things done, and right now it's just about pulling a lever every twice a year, or every year, and then going rah rah rah. While more drones are bombing innocent people. These drones, these are remote control airplanes that blow people apart. So where's Bernie on this? I would like to know this. I would like to know why he didn't show up to the hearings. These children, they raised the money themselves to come here in front of Congress to talk about the drone strikes. So why did only 5 Congress members show up to that? They came all the way from Pakistan, northern Pakistan, to talk about this a year and a half ago. And Bernie was not one of those people. So I would just like to know why he didn't show up to this. Why he's silent about the military machine, this phony war on terror, being funded by our own government. I came from a Jewish family, but I do not support any type of land theft and persecution of peace-loving people and children and families. The families and children are being decimated in Israel by a group of people that feel like it's okay to take over other people's land and just put people in a cage and then bomb them with weapons that don't just burn you alive but then give you cancer. You can give people cancer through other ways. They're using like microwaves to give people cancer and other shit. So they're gonna keep trying to scare you. They also have space-based weapons. So I don't know what to say. It's like we gotta learn what's going on. There's people need to see this. I mean, I know you might think it sounds strange, but we're being misled, and we got to wake up. And these criminals have names and addresses. They're human beings, and they can be identified and interrogated, and hopefully stopped from what they're doing. Because right now it's not cool. We need to be connecting with one another, restoring balance, and stop murdering each other and torturing people. There's what's it called? Extrajudicial rendition. See you later, guys. Can I get one last? And this is, there's also kidnapping of children in New York City through the ACS, through Child Protective Services. And there's a local grassroots group called the ACS that's trying to raise awareness about this. Usually these groups are broke, so we asked that Bernie Sanders, this man that get fleets of buses like to go around the country to preach his, whatever, and make pictures of him looking like the sun, on the bus. We would like to ask why, real people on the ground doing real work are still having to, can't even afford Metro cards. So we're asking for maybe some of that money to funnel down to the grassroots, or at least start talking. We'd be happy if you go on the subway like every normal human being and just start talking about these issues. Just go on the subway, Bernie Sanders, and talk about the issues that you claim to care about.